Every morning, millions of people over 60 eat what they believe is a healthy breakfast and slowly damage their blood sugar without knowing it. If your A1C keeps climbing even though you're eating clean, skipping junk food, and following your doctor's advice, you are not alone. My name is Dr. Gourd, and I have spent years helping diabetic seniors take back control of their health through simple, research-backed changes. According to the CDC, chronically high morning blood sugar quietly worsens insulin resistance, damages your kidneys, harms your nerves, and steals your vision over time. Today, I'm going to show you 3 breakfast foods that almost every diabetic over 60 trusts completely, but are secretly spiking your blood sugar every single morning. These are not obvious junk foods. In fact, one of them is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. And the third food is often marketed as one of the healthiest breakfasts for seniors. Before we get into the 3 foods, you need to understand one very important thing first. After the age of 60, your body handles sugar very differently than it did at 40. A 2019 study published in the journal Diabetes Care found that insulin sensitivity naturally decreases with age. This means your body needs more insulin to do the same job it used to handle easily. So foods that were perfectly fine for you 20 years ago can now send your blood sugar soaring. And here's the part that most people miss entirely. For diabetics after 60, breakfast is the most important meal of the day for controlling blood sugar spikes. Why? Because your cortisol levels are naturally at their highest in the early morning hours. Cortisol is a hormone that raises blood sugar. So when you eat a high-sugar breakfast on top of already elevated cortisol, your glucose spikes harder and faster than at any other time of day. This is called the dawn phenomenon, and the American Diabetes Association confirms that it is a real and serious issue for people with type 2 diabetes. Think about what that means practically. You wake up, your cortisol is already pushing your blood sugar up naturally. Then you eat a breakfast loaded with hidden sugar. Your glucose does not just rise, it shoots up fast and hard, and your aging insulin system struggles to bring it back down. That spike sits in your bloodstream for hours. And if you repeat that same breakfast every single morning, day after day, your body pays a compounding price over time. Research from the American Heart Association published in 2021 also confirms that people with type 2 diabetes who experience frequent morning glucose spikes face a significantly higher risk of developing cardiovascular complications compared to those who keep their morning number stable. This is not a minor issue. This is your long-term health. So what you eat for breakfast is not just breakfast. It is either protecting your body or quietly setting the stage for complications that build up over months and years. Now let us look at the 3 foods. The first food is one that almost every diabetic has been told is good for them: oatmeal. Now before you close this video, stay with me, because there's a very important difference between the oatmeal that protects you and the oatmeal that is quietly destroying your blood sugar every single morning. Plain rolled oats and steel-cut oats are genuinely good for people with diabetes. They are high in fiber, slow digesting, and they release glucose gradually into your bloodstream. A 2015 study published in the journal Nutrients found that oats significantly improved blood sugar control and insulin response in people with type 2 diabetes. But that is not the oatmeal most people are actually eating. Most people over 60 are eating the packet versions. The flavored instant oatmeal packets that say things like heart healthy and natural flavors right on the box. These packets contain anywhere from 12 to 28 grams of added sugar per serving. Their fiber has been stripped away during processing, which means the oats are broken down much faster inside your body. Look at the labels: added sugars, artificial flavors, and almost no fiber left. This is not oatmeal protecting you. This is sugar wearing an oatmeal costume. Let me tell you about a patient I want to call Margaret. She was 66 years old, a retired nurse who thought she was being incredibly careful with her diet. Every morning, she made her healthy oatmeal from a packet, added some dried fruit on top, and felt proud of herself. But her fasting glucose was consistently above 180 every single morning. She could not understand why. When we looked at her breakfast together, the answer was right there on the label. Her morning packet had 19 grams of added sugar. Then the dried fruit added another 25 grams. She was starting every day with the sugar equivalent of a candy bar. The fix is simple. Switch to plain rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Cook them yourself. Then add half a teaspoon of cinnamon. A 2003 study published in Diabetes Care found that cinnamon can lower fasting blood sugar by up to 29% in people with type 2 diabetes. Add a small handful of walnuts for healthy fat that slows glucose absorption even further. That one swap alone can change your morning numbers dramatically. Real quick, before we go further, I want to know where you're watching this from right now and how long you have been dealing with blood sugar and insulin resistance issues. If this is already making sense of something you've been worried about, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. If this content is helping you, type 1 in the comments or 0 if it does not. Now, let us move to the second food. And this one surprises almost everyone because it has the word healthy written all over it. The second breakfast food quietly raising blood sugar in diabetics after 60 is fruit-flavored yogurt. Walk into any grocery store and the yogurt aisle looks like a health food paradise. Bright colors, pictures of fresh fruit, words like light, low fat, and good source of protein everywhere you look. And for people with diabetes, yogurt sounds like the perfect breakfast choice. But here is the truth that the labels do not tell you clearly. A single cup of standard fruit-flavored yogurt contains around 24 grams of sugar. That is 6 full teaspoons of sugar hiding in one small cup. A study published in BMJ Open in 2018 analyzed over 900 yogurt products and found that the vast majority, including those marketed specifically as healthy choices, contained excessive amounts of added sugar. And here is where it gets even more dangerous for diabetics. The yogurts labeled as low-fat are actually worse. Why? Because when food manufacturers remove the fat, the yogurt tastes bland and unappealing. So they replace that fat with sugar to bring the flavor back. You think you are making the smarter choice by picking the low-fat version, but you are actually getting more sugar than the regular version. You're being tricked by the label. This matters enormously after 60 because your insulin response to sugar is already slower. That 24-gram sugar hit from a single cup of yogurt hits your bloodstream fast and hard, causing a sharp glucose spike right after breakfast before you have even finished your morning coffee. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 71 years old and absolutely convinced that his breakfast was spotless. Every morning, he ate 1 cup of strawberry yogurt, drank a small glass of orange juice, and had a piece of toast. He could not figure out why his post-breakfast blood sugar was consistently hitting 210 and above. When I reviewed his full breakfast with him, I counted 52 grams of sugar before 9 in the morning. The yogurt alone was responsible for 24 of those grams. Once he made the swap, his post-breakfast reading dropped by over 40 points within just 2 weeks. So what is the swap? Plain Greek yogurt, unsweetened and full fat. 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt has around 7 grams of naturally occurring sugar with 0 added sugar at all. It is also high in protein, which significantly slows down glucose absorption in your body. Add a small handful of fresh berries on top. Blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries are low on the glycemic index and packed with antioxidants that actively support insulin sensitivity, according to a 2019 study published in the journal Advances in Nutrition. That is your new breakfast. Creamy, satisfying, naturally sweet, and genuinely protective for your blood sugar every single morning. Now, if this video is already opening your eyes, I need you to do one quick thing for me right now. Hit that like button. It takes less than 1 second, and it tells me that this kind of honest, research-backed content is worth making more of. It also helps this video reach other diabetic seniors who are eating these exact foods right now and have no idea what is happening inside their body. Now, let us get to the third food. And I want to warn you in advance, this one has some of the most deceptive marketing in the entire food industry. The packaging will make you feel like you are making a great decision. The numbers tell a completely different story. The third so-called healthy breakfast food that spikes blood sugar is granola. Granola has one of the strongest health reputations of any food on grocery store shelves. The bags use words like natural, wholesome, made with whole grains, high in fiber, and heart healthy. There are pictures of mountains, sunrise, and farms on the packaging. It genuinely feels like the most innocent and responsible thing you could eat. But when you flip that bag around and look at the actual numbers on the label, the truth is deeply uncomfortable. A standard half-cup serving of granola, which is a very small amount that most people do not stop at, contains anywhere from 12 to 22 grams of sugar. Some popular granola brands contain more sugar per serving than a Snickers bar. A 2021 analysis from the Environmental Working Group found that many granolas marketed specifically to health-conscious consumers had more sugar per serving than frosted breakfast cereals marketed directly to children. And the whole grains claim printed on the front of the bag, those grains have been coated in honey, corn syrup, or refined sugar and then baked at high heat. The glycemic index of most commercial granolas sits between 60 and 70, which places it firmly in the high range for anyone who is managing blood sugar. For someone over 60 with already reduced insulin sensitivity, a bowl of granola in the morning is one of the fastest ways to spike your glucose before you have even left the kitchen. I want to share the story of a woman named Dorothy. She was 68 years old and had recently been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Her doctor told her to clean up her diet, so she threw out everything she thought was bad and replaced her breakfast with what she believed was the healthiest option available: organic granola with almond milk. She felt proud of the change. She thought she had finally figured it out. But her fasting glucose readings actually got worse after the switch. When she brought her full food diary to her next appointment, the granola was the answer. Her organic granola had 18 grams of sugar per half cup, and she was eating a full cup every single morning, doubling that number before she even accounted for what was in the almond milk. The fix for granola is not complicated at all. Make your own mix instead. A small handful of raw almonds, pumpkin seeds, and walnuts with a light sprinkle of cinnamon. This combination gives you healthy fat, protein, and real fiber. All three of those things slow glucose absorption and keep you full for hours without a spike. There is no added sugar, no deceptive label language, and no blood sugar disaster hiding inside a wholesome-looking bag. A 2014 study published in the journal Diabetes Care found that replacing refined carbohydrates with nuts significantly improved blood sugar control and reduced cardiovascular risk in people with type 2 diabetes. Think about that for a second. You're not giving anything up. You're trading a bag full of hidden sugar for something that actively works in your favor. Raw almonds and pumpkin seeds give you magnesium, which a 2013 study in the journal Diabetes and Metabolism found is directly linked to improved insulin sensitivity in people with type 2 diabetes. Walnuts provide omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation. And cinnamon rounds it all out by helping your cells respond to insulin more effectively. That small handful of nuts and seeds does more for your blood sugar than any granola bar ever could. I want to take a moment here because I know exactly how many of you feel right now. You are frustrated. You gave up the obvious bad foods: the soda, the cookies, the white bread. You thought you were finally doing things right. And now you are finding out that the foods you replaced them with are still working against you. That frustration is completely valid, and it is incredibly common. The food industry spends billions of dollars every year on packaging, marketing, and label language specifically designed to make these products appear healthy to people who are genuinely trying to make better choices. You are not being careless. You are being misled. But here is what changes everything. Once you have this information, every single grocery store trip becomes a completely different experience. You walk past the granola, and you know what is actually inside it. You skip the flavored yogurt, and you know exactly why. You put the instant oatmeal packets back on the shelf, and you feel good about it, because you understand what you are protecting yourself from. Knowledge does not just change what you eat. It changes how you feel about eating. And that sense of control and confidence in your choices is one of the most powerful tools you have for long-term blood sugar management. Research in nutritional psychology consistently shows that people who understand exactly why a food is harmful to them are far more likely to make lasting changes than people who are simply told what not to eat. When you know the reason behind the rule sticks. That is why I explain the science behind every single food today, because I want these changes to last for you, not just this week, but for years to come. So here is what I want you to do starting tomorrow morning. I am giving you a 7-day challenge. For the next 7 days, make these 3 swaps every single morning. Replace your flavored oatmeal packets with plain rolled oats topped with cinnamon and walnuts. Replace your fruit-flavored yogurt with plain, full-fat Greek yogurt topped with a handful of fresh berries. Replace your granola with a small mix of raw nuts and seeds with a sprinkle of cinnamon. And at the same time, check your fasting glucose every single morning before breakfast. Write the number down in a notebook or on your phone. Do this every day for 7 days straight. By day 4 or day 5, most people begin to see a real and noticeable difference in their morning numbers. By day 7, you'll have evidence written in your own handwriting of exactly what these 3 swaps are doing for your body. Some people see their fasting glucose drop by 10 to 20 points just from the breakfast change alone. Others notice they feel less tired in the morning, have fewer cravings later in the day, and feel more in control of their eating overall. That is because stable blood sugar in the morning creates a more stable hormonal environment for the rest of your day. It is a ripple effect that starts with your very first bite. This is not a promise of a cure, and it is not a complicated medical program. This is a practical, evidence-based tool that puts the control back in your hands. And it starts tomorrow morning with your very first bite. Let me quickly go over everything we covered today, so you can save this video and come back to it whenever you need a reminder. Flavored oatmeal packets contain 12 to 28 grams of added sugar with almost no fiber remaining after processing. Swap them for plain rolled oats with cinnamon and walnuts. Fruit-flavored yogurt contains up to 24 grams of added sugar per cup, and the low-fat versions are actually worse because manufacturers replace removed fat with even more sugar. Swap it for plain full-fat Greek yogurt with fresh berries. Granola contains as much sugar as a candy bar and uses carefully crafted label language to disguise that fact. Swap it for a mix of raw nuts, seeds, and cinnamon. 3 breakfast swaps. 7 days. Monitor your fasting blood sugar every morning and watch how your glucose numbers respond. Keep a simple log, even just a note on your phone, so you can actually see the progress happening in real time. The numbers will speak for themselves. Before you go, please share this video with someone you care about right now, a parent, a sibling, a friend, anyone over 60 with diabetes who is eating these exact foods every single morning thinking they're doing the right thing. One tap from you could genuinely change their health, and you might not realize how much that matters until you see it happen. Now, before you leave, I also want to point you towards something that works incredibly well alongside these breakfast swaps. It is something so simple that most people completely dismiss it when they first hear about it, but the research behind it is genuinely remarkable. It takes only 2 minutes after you eat, and it can stop a blood sugar spike before it even has a chance to build. I made a full video about it, and I think it will surprise you just as much as today did. You can watch it right here, and I will see you there.